Did you get in a poop fight?
Yeah. Who asked that question?
I feel like I can't snitch, even though you could just go on my channel and look at it. But it was Lauren.
Well, because I could just. I was about to say it's probably Lauren, isn't it?
It was Lauren.
Okay. Yeah, there was just some guys like robbed me and my friends who were selling ecstasy, and I ended up getting into a fight. These guys had like guns that looked like they were revolvers from like the early 1920s, with like the thin little pistols, and they came in and they initially just like grabbed the bag from him, and so I was like trying to find where the bag was. It was sticking out one of the dude's pockets, so I grabbed it, threw it. My buddy caught it, but then they kind of attacked him. So as soon as they attacked him, I went and grabbed them and just got like down to the ground with one of them, and we were fighting on the ground for a couple minutes, and eventually we get exhausted. I tell him to stop like fighting. He says okay. He stands back up. Then he rushes my friend again, so I grab him again, go back down to the ground again for a long time. And we're eventually to the point where we're both like, I'm like laying on top of him, and we're both like panting, like, oh,
fighting is tiring.
Yeah. So we got like fucking blood and everything. And eventually I kept telling him to stop resisting, stop fighting. I kept trying to like hold his hands down, and he wouldn't stop struggling. He wouldn't stop trying to hit me. He was a scrappy motherfucker. And my buddies, we were in my buddy's house. It was a very nice house. His dog had just shit on the floor a little while earlier, and I grabbed the fucking shit and I shoved it in his mouth and in his teeth and in his eyes, and I smeared it all over him. And then I asked him if he was going to stop, and he said yes. And then I stood up and I let him get up, and then he said, okay, let's go. So I started walking away thinking it's over. And I like, as I'm walking away, I get fucking hit in the back of the head with a pistol. And it's that little fucking pistol with the little tiny, barrel on it. And he said, oh, you're not so bad now. You're not going to shove dog shit in my face now, are you? And then turned around and ran out the place and left. Like the whole thing was that they were pretending that they had thousands of dollars to buy like hundreds of rolls with that they didn't have. It was all ones and like fives and 20s like rolled up to try to look like it was a lot more money. And so as soon as they grabbed the thing, all the money went all over the place. They ran out of the place with still all of the money all over the floor. And I kind of like fainted, fell on the ground. Like I don't think it was as much from getting hit over the head as much as it was just being exhausted, the adrenaline that was pumping, like all the shit. It went on for like maybe 20-30 minutes, and then they told me afterwards that the other two guys, while I was fighting with that kid, because as he ran out, his voice like screeched like, you let him throw dog shit in my mouth, like, and just like very like that sound will never leave my mind. And so later that they were like, I was like, why did he say like you let them? Like I kept thinking they were gonna come fight me, but I guess like you guys would have jumped in, and so that's why they didn't. And they're like, no, dude, they literally had guns pointed at the two of us the whole time. The other two guys were literally standing there with guns to us the whole time you were fighting. I was like, what? No fucking shot. They're like, yes, they were pointing it at you. Like once you would get like, you would hurt him pretty bad, they would start pointing it at you and telling you to get up, but you didn't. We thought you knew, and you just didn't give a fuck that they were about to shoot you. Or like, well, you thought it was fucking badass. Like, fuck no, I didn't. Why didn't you tell me they had guns pointed at? What the fuck? What is wrong with you guys? You tell somebody when they got a gun pointed at you and it's to their back. Like, what do you mean? Yeah, I had no idea. And
people don't want to. They didn't want to use them.
Yeah, no, they definitely, obviously didn't want to use them. The fact that they had guns and still left the rolls and the money is insane, dude. It's fucking insane. But my friends thought I was insane, and that I was willing to just kick guys' asses who were pointing guns at me the whole time. Like, they thought I was fucking
You literally
crazy.
made him eat shit. You literally made him eat shit. That is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet he never fucked with you again. Did he ever fuck with you?
No, and the weird thing is we thought they were going to come back. We kept thinking they were going to come back. But I have we always called him Hurley after that because he was wearing a Hurley hat. You're wearing a Hurley hat right now. That's
God
fucking
damn
crazy.
it.
So we called that kid that I fought Hurley, and the like years later, like maybe like 7, 8 years later, my friend that it was his house. We were like best friends, always hung out. He's lived with me on multiple occasions. We went through drug addiction together and like all this shit. He's still, struggling here and there. And, but he came over, or I think it was over at his house one day or something like that. And he's like, yeah, dude, this is the fucking Hurley hat from that Hurley kid. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, this is the hat. Isn't it crazy? I still have it. I forgot I had this. I was like, can I have this? He's like, yeah, I guess. I mean, I never wear it or anything. I was like, fucking sweet, dude. I was like, that is based. But then he said, yeah, that's the kid who you shoved dog shit in his mouth. And I was like, did I? He's like, yes, you told him if he doesn't stop, you're gonna shove dog shit in his mouth. And you did. And I was like, I did. Holy shit. I've told this story like 100 times in jail, in prison. I totally forgot about that part. I was like, that part totally fucking slipped out of my head. And then like, yes, all of the fucking like everything started coming back. And yeah, I've sat around with my friends like reminiscing about these like fucking crazy stories 1,000 times. So.
Do you remember at what point if you washed your hands?
Immediately after, because I also had blood like dripping down like my mouth and my nose, I think, and shit. So I had to wipe the blood off and everything.
This is probably a TMI question, but was it like old and stale and dry, or was it like fresh?
It's the mix. It was a mix. It was like I think I was like hard on the outside, but like very mushy and like diarrhea-y on the inside. So yeah.
It was like a candy or something, crispy coating.
So like he's got like pieces of shit stuck to his face with like the hard square on the outside of like the. Yeah.
That's fucking amazing. You know what? The institutions may have let you down, but God did you a solid there.
Yeah.
That's great. So you don't still have the hat, do you?
I do somewhere, yeah. I've shown it on stream a couple of times, yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's great. That's amazing. Were you listening to this at all?
Actually, it might be like right over there somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to see that whenever you trip across it again.
Hold on, I think it's probably like right over here. I'll check.
I've never put poop in anyone's mouth. I feel sort of underaccomplished now. I gotta put poop in someone's mouth now. It's on the bucket list. It could be you, Snow, or it could be you, Lauren, or it could be Jen. Romano. That's good shit.
Yeah, no, I don't see it, but
okay.
I'll come across it at some point. I don't like keep it up as a trophy anywhere,
but
I keep it as a trophy.
You gotta have it as a trophy. You gotta.
It should, yeah, because it's gotten like super like wrinkled and shit, and gotten mixed up in like laundry a ton of times. And I think I should have this in like a glass case somewhere or something with like, the
little
shit
plaque or something that says, the date and the event and yeah, that's really good.
Me and my friends, so the problem was that we were crazy and young and dumb, but mainly dumb. Right. Like it wasn't that we were like super like creative and willing to do things. We were fucking crazy. Like and dumb. Like we were just really dumb. And so there's another story that like I've told a bunch of times of it, like people get mad about, but it's that me and my friends um dressed up as like SWAT and went and stole drugs from like another drug dealer, and
That's not uncommon.
and yeah, well, that's the thing, is that like that's a thing that like out of all the fucking stories, that's the one that like a ton of people think is just so fake. That's no way that ever happened. And I've had so many people in the game be like, I never did that, but I know that is not an uncommon thing. Like
It's not an
that's
uncommon
a thing that happens, especially in the South. Like folks are doing that shit all over the
If
place
Joe
just because
Cool's
it's
still in my
you
chat, I
need to
think that
get
he's done
free
it.
drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
And
what are
the
you
thing
gonna do? Even
that,
if you figure out that it's like,
yeah,
even if you figure out that it's like other people, like all you can do is try to rob them back or try to fight them or something because you can't
people
call the cops. So like, you
people who are
can't do
living the
anything about
drug
it.
lifestyle spend all of their time stressed about cops anyways. So when you show up,
Mhm.
it's not like it takes a lot of convincing.
Oh yeah,
They've been expecting the boogeyman.
they're yes, and they're freaking out the whole time. Like they're panicking hardcore. Like they'll believe just about anything in those moments. And um,
Yeah, Lady Flo
the
says she's known
funniest
people to
thing
do
is that.
that. It's pretty common.
Mhm, mhm. Um, yeah, the had like a day on here. If you ever look up tomfoolery, what do they call it? The tomfoolery, shit. I'm blanking on the word. What is it called when you go to court and it's a trial, the tomfoolery trial,
Mhm.
where like people were acting like that was so crazy and unheard of, and it's like an insane thing, and it's like a movie and blah blah blah. And the other person was not so erudite, who was a drug counselor, and she's like, no, that's not hard to believe. Like that is like the
It's not.
extreme end of the spectrum, but it's not so extreme that it's hard to believe people would do that, because that's just a thing that happens. Like,
My favorite part about it though is the whole way through, there's just enough incompetence on everyone's part that it continues dragging on. Like at no point do you put him down? Does he put you down? Do the people with the guns? Like nobody quite is able to make this situation conclusive. That's my favorite part. That takes a fantastic balance of like competency and attitudes.
I've always thought that if I was ever like going to rob people at gunpoint, my friends are so fucking retarded that I would make sure none of them have a bullet in the chamber. Like none of them have anything in the chamber, because they are so fucking stupid, they will likely shoot somebody. And so I probably would have been like ahead of time, been like, you guys are, we are unloading these things completely. You are not taking anything in there. And like the, and then like, you know, lots of times people are like, okay, but what if they didn't know if you guys had guns? It's like, well, they didn't pull them out until way later. So they were like, they seemed to be scoping us out ahead of time and only pulling them out if it was necessary as like a backup plan, because they didn't have them out when we were first there yelling at each other for the first like 5-10 minutes. So I didn't see them until way later. But the second part about the SWAT thing that's actually like makes the story so much better is that I don't remember how I can't remember right now how it happened, but a like somebody like a local paper ended up writing about the fact that somebody was going around pretending to be police and robbing drug dealers. And it was a little while after that I was going to sell drugs to my drug dealer with my buddy in the car. And I had run from the cops successfully a couple of times down like this windy road with tons of like woods and shit, where you could just pull into the woods like at a fishing spot and turn off your headlights and brake lights and everything, and they go flying past you. And so I tried to run unsuccessfully. They were right there, couldn't really get away. And they come and like, you know, have us like get out of the car with our hands up and everything. And they ask like, why did you run? Like, there's nothing in the car. We didn't find anything, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, because we threw everything out the windows. Like we threw all the shit out the windows as we were like running away. And or maybe I was just trying to get far enough ahead of them to throw it out. I don't remember.
To
But
throw it out without them seeing
the
it.
yeah, and so we so once they said like, well, why did you do that? I was like, did you guys not? I've been pulled over numerous times by people who are just trying to steal my drugs. They're pretending to be cops and they keep stealing my fucking drugs. So I didn't know if that's who you guys were either. And so I just wanted to make sure that you guys were actually cops and everything first. And so I was scared that it was another person trying to rob us again. And they totally bought it, didn't get in trouble for running or
Did you
anything.
just admit
like,
though
oh,
that like didn't you just admit that you had drugs on you?
I probably had like more of a story to it than that.
Yeah.
I don't remember all the details of most of the shit from back
If you
then.
can if you can keep your composure and sell the body language to a cop, like you're good to go. The first time I ever got arrested, I was 15. I made it into jail, out of jail, and the whole way through, and I kept my fake ID, which is pretty amazing. But
Yeah, no, I was never able to keep my composure. Like all of us were always like, because we all knew how high the stakes were every time. That like when we were kids, like we didn't want our parents to find out, and like there was just so much involved that like we didn't want to ruin our entire futures. We had tons of friends that were always like getting nabbed and disappearing to prison or jail or whatever, and it was always like, yeah, it's like you said, it's always in the back of everyone's mind that it's gonna happen someday. And you're just like, every time you get pulled over for a fucking speeding ticket, you're clean, there's nothing on you, and I still am fucking shaking like a leaf, just like fucking shit, like every single time, shit in my pants. So
yeah, no, I was good at composure. One time, I got pulled over, and they ended up searching my car because I was fucked up. Of course, I played it off. I said that I don't know. It's finals week. I drank some Red Bulls, but I remember sitting and I had just got a bunch of Xanax, and I remember sitting, and I put them in my shoe, and I remember sitting because it started raining when they were searching the car. So he's like, "Do you want to sit in the squad car out of the rain?" I said, "Sure." So I'm sitting there with a bag of like 70 Xanax in my shoe, going, "Huh? Do I leave them in the shoe? Do I sneak them out under the seat?" I ended up leaving them in the shoe and never. But that was a little bit. What was I looking
for? Somebody donated, wanted to know when you got out.
I never went to prison. I got community correction. I spent 4 months in county in 17, and then I got sentenced to 36 months of community corrections, which is it's kind of like super probation. It's not through the county; it's through the DOC.
What? Wait, you had like federal charges?
No, it was state DOC. So most probations are just administered by the
State
county. But my state has a thing called community corrections, and it's the DOC that runs it. And actually, so you get a DOC inmate number and everything. It's on paper. What's happening is you're actually serving your prison sentence on the outside, but functionally, it's a super probation basically. But I got sentenced to
How old were you at the time?
30.
30? Because I was gonna say you were able to work in the government with a record after that. Like that's
No, I did it before that.
odd. Okay.
Yeah, I actually had to
Well,
send
my chat did not fill up my goals, so I do have to end stream here.
Well, this is a great ending point. Does a fantastic story. I still think that you have Stockholm syndrome, but that story took the cake. So congratulations to you. I was telling Katie when you went to look for the hat, I feel like I've done a lot of things in life, but I now feel like, because I've never fed anybody shit.
Oh, I was listening.
Okay. Yeah.
I have my earbuds in. Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, that's on the to-do
list. One
list.
day I'll teach you how to rub shit in somebody's mouth, and we'll get the technique down. And
all right, yeah. The turd selection and stuff. All right, hey, thank you for having me up. And